My landmark case is Obergefell v. Hodges. So it starts with the couple James Obergefell and John Arthur. This is James Obergefell, and this is John Arthur. The couple had been together for 21 years prior to finding out that in 2011, John Arthur would be diagnosed with ALS. ALS is a nervous system disease that causes muscle weakness and impacts physical function. So after finding out this information, they want to get married, and Ohio is one of the states that bans same-sex marriage. So they fly to Baltimore, Maryland, to where they get married in the airport parking lot, and then fly back to Ohio, where John Arthur dies 3 months later. But Ohio didn't recognize them as a married couple at all. This means that James Obergefell's name would not be on John Arthur's death certificate, and he would not be able to decide what happens to John Arthur's body or their stuff. So, Ohio was not the only state that banned same-sex couples from getting married. Kentucky, Tennessee, and Michigan also banned it too. So, other couples in the states with a ban against same-sex marriage also sued their relevant state agencies, thus making Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky, and Tennessee versus the groups of same-sex couples. The district states actually all ruled in favor of the plaintiffs and agreed that the same-sex couples' rights are being violated. Their 14th Amendment is being violated. However, the Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit reversed the rulings and says no, their 14th Amendment is not being violated. So Obergefell appeals and they go to the Supreme Court. So the 14th Amendment forbids the states to restrict the basic rights of citizens or other persons. So essentially, the plaintiffs are challenging the state's right to ban same-sex couples' marriage. The two-question posed in the courtroom is, does the 14th Amendment require a state to license a marriage between two people of the same sex? And does the 14th Amendment require a state to recognize a legally licensed marriage performed in another state? And the respondents' concerns are that it's the state's right to regulate marriage, and it doesn't say in the Constitution that it's not. So would requiring states to recognize and grant marriage license be unconstitutional and get in the way of the state's rights? The outcome. There was a 5 out of 4 majority, and yes, the 14th Amendment requires the same-sex couples have the right to marry in every state. And yes, states are required to license same-sex marriages and recognize ones granted in other states. So Kennedy set precedent, and it was the right to marry is a fundamental liberty, and states cannot get in the way of that.